No, it's a very interesting weekend in the NFL. You kind of get a sense the AFC North now is back to being wide open. So Lamar is going to be coming back soon.
Oh yeah.
The Chargers have been struggling. That win over Miami for the Chargers without Joe Alt and without Hampton and without Quentin Johnson, a road win. That play by Herbert is much bigger than you think to stay ahead of the Chargers. So now they go back home and Alt's going to play. Khalil Mack is back and Quentin Johnson may play. So they had a 3-game stretch, man. They were you sometimes in this league, you're just trying to survive.
Tread water. Yeah.
Tread water. So that win over Miami last week, that play by Herbert, we said it didn't feel just like game saving. It was like season. Like, here comes Denver. Denver won in London. Here come the Chiefs. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
All right, Colin, let's start with that other L.A. team, the L.A. Rams. Now, this is strange, but for whatever reason, the red zone has been a major issue for the Rams. They currently are 24th in the league in red zone TD percentage. That's with Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. And now Puka will not play in London. And all of a sudden, Colin, I think the Jags are kind of appetizing here.
Yes,
Can Davante carry them? Here he is on their offensive issues.
I played with Aaron for, majority of my career. We played 9 years together, basically, and it definitely didn't start off first couple years, let alone first couple games, the way that we got going. So, not that we have another 10 years to go, but it takes time. It's not easy. Puka and Matthew have been playing together for years now, and they have a little better understanding for where one another is going to be, what to expect, and just making it work. It's been a few where there's really no excuse for me or him or whatever. So we just got to put it together.
Yeah, first of all, they're not using their tight ends much. Terrence Ferguson was their first, he was like a second-round pick. They haven't really played him much. They've also had ball security issues with the running backs. My question is, I wonder if Sean McVay has lost confidence in Kyron Williams and Blake Corum in terms of ball security. That could be part of it, where they're getting more predictable because they just don't trust handing the ball after their running backs, and they're not using tight ends a ton. So I think it's one of those things where, Sean McVay got rid of Cam Akers. He could not hold the ball. He likes those smaller, shiftier running backs, but Blake Corum is not. He's been totally disappointing as a third-round pick.
We loved him coming out of Michigan.
Oh, he was just tremendous.
He got dinged up against the Ravens, by the way. Had a great catch, but you're right. He's not getting the usage because it's a trust issue.
I think it's a trust issue.
Here's the other thing. I saw a report that the Rams are going to arrive Saturday morning for their game on Sunday morning in London. Now, they stayed on the East Coast after the Baltimore game, but this is insanity. McVay must know something we don't, because all the smart teams arrive way early. The Jaguars, for instance, got there Monday. Okay, you travel a lot. You're Mr. International, okay? It's going to be tough to travel and then the next day wake up and play a football game. So just out of principle, I took the Jags in the points when I saw that the Rams are arriving Saturday morning. I think that's insane. And no Puka. And remember,
Listen,
that division's tough, man.
I think for young athletes, they're not out boozing. They're out prepping, going to bed early. I think they'll be fine. I think as you age, international travel is more of a jet lag thing. But I don't, flying from wherever they were at Camden Yards this week.
Yeah.
If you're flying from Baltimore on the team plane to London, what is that, a 6-hour flight?
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Okay. All right. We'll see on Monday, Colin. Next up, Aaron Rodgers. I know you saw this last night. If yelling at his running back wasn't enough, how about this? Broderick Jones, the young man out of Georgia. Holy cow, he flattened Aaron Rodgers, jumped on his back. Rodgers came up with some F-bombs and shoved him. Listen, Rodgers was in a feisty mood last night.
That's not the smartest thing to do as an offensive lineman.
What is Jones doing? He was a highly acclaimed kid out of Georgia. I mean, he's like 350 pounds. Look at this. What? Well, I mean, what if Rodgers separated his shoulder or something? That was insane. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you shouldn't tackle your teammates who are 40 years old. I don't think it's that complicated. Let me defend Aaron here.
Yeah, next time you're in L.A., I'll make sure to celebrate his segment by jumping on your back and landing on you. All right, final story, Colin. Let's go to Micah Parsons. He's been quiet. Green Bay, hey, listen, Green Bay's not on our radar this week until you picked the Arizona Cardinals against them. Micah is getting in the news, Colin, because he's got some comments about officiating, saying he feels the refs call more defensive penalties than offensive penalties. Take a listen.
That's the part of being one of the best, that comes with some territory where parts that you hate and the parts that the league lets go, like, they know, like, I mean, you could tell how they call the games. They don't call offsides for offense, but they'll call it on defense. They won't call offensive pass interference, but they'll call defensive pass interference immediately. Like, we know what you're trying to do. They want to load the points up so fans can be happy, and you know what I mean? They'll call defensive holding, but they won't call offensive holding. Like let's just wake up.
Well, I don't think that means the league is rigged. I think the league figured out after that CTE paycheck they wrote for $1 billion, practices, lighten up, hitting, favor the offense. And, you know, I don't think there's any question. The sport is better when there's points. Don't hit anybody except running backs. About the only position now you can get hit from any angle. So he's not wrong. They've tried to make the game more offensive. And there, by the way, it's a fine line. You don't want Canadian football. The NBA figured this out, is that in the playoffs, when they let them play and it was more physical, the ratings went up. People like physical play. But WNBA found out when it's too physical, the players get hurt and it hurts the quality of the game. So I think there's a balance, but it is clearly, undeniably an offensive game, and officials are looking for defensive players doing things that could get people hurt. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Okay, I'll agree. Yeah.
No big disagreement. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
We have our schedule. J-Mac will have his picks next hour. We will undoubtedly have an upset, but it is interesting. What is an upset now? Are the Raiders going to beat Kansas City? No. I'd probably take the Raiders to cover the spread, probably. If New Orleans beat the Bears, that's down to 4.5. Upset to me is like 8 points. It would be if the New York Giants beat Denver, that would feel like an upset.
Huge.
I will say this. I didn't make this a blazing 5 pick. Houston at Seattle. Seattle's played in multiple big emotional games, and Seattle's actually been a better road team than a home team, strangely. Houston's an interesting team getting 3 points. I think Tuesday morning, we view that as an upset, even though it's a 3-point spread. I think Houston at Seattle, I thought about that game. I thought about taking Houston.
Oh.
I don't know if that, do you see anything on the board? Now, do you like Tennessee hosting New England?
So let's go back real quick. So this Houston game. Last week, Seattle hit Trevor Lawrence 17 times, more than any quarterback was hit, I believe, in any game this season. I think they had 7 sacks. We know the Texans' offensive line stinks. So night game in Seattle, and I know the home field advantage is not what it was. How is C.J. Stroud going to be kept upright? And Seattle's getting the defensive backs returning from injury. So I was going Seattle here. I bet the Seahawks in this, favored by 3. What do you see in Houston? Is it just coming off the bye?
Yeah, I think you're coming off the bye. Seattle's been in many spirited, close games. And I think, off a bye, Houston's about as healthy as they've been. I think when you play big game after big game after big game, look at Seattle's injury report. And listen, I thought Washington was going to take care of Chicago, and the home field didn't matter. So I do think Detroit at home against Tampa, that feels like a really good spot because Detroit just got whacked by Kansas City. They're in a really bad mood. And, let's be honest about Tampa. You can't keep winning like this over and over and over. Generally, it catches up with you. I don't see I don't see it as a big upset weekend. One of the more interesting games to me is Atlanta at San Francisco. I think the wise guys actually like Atlanta, but Atlanta is one of those dome teams that I kind of feel like when they go on the road, I don't get the same team. And San Francisco, if you look at the practice reports, if San Francisco can bring back a couple of weapons, I like San Francisco.
I totally agree. We're seeing some of these splits. Like if Atlanta's playing in a dome, you can bet them. They're not a lock to cover, but outdoors is a totally different animal. Cleveland, for instance, at home, I think you can bet them. I do need to ask you, that Drake May line is at 7.5, Colin. So now we have Drake May laying a touchdown in Tennessee. I know that there's like a dead cat bounce sometimes for teams that fire their coach, right? Is Tennessee going to get that? Hey, we got Callahan out of here. Everybody, let's rally the troops.
Well, we saw UCLA at the college level
100%
gets rid of their coach, and nobody in the world. I sat and watched that game for 3 hours. I didn't even know what I was watching.
Yeah.
They were hammering Penn State. It just who you play next and who you played last matters in college and pro.
Oh, yeah. By the way, third straight road game for the New England Patriots. They've been road weary.
That's interesting.
Road warriors. Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's probably why a lot of the wise guys like the Titans as the side.
We have that in headlines. One other fun stat, because I know you like these. Indianapolis Colts are going to the Chargers. You know, this is their second visit to SoFi in a month, right?
Yeah.
They were just out here against the Rams.
I will say this: the Bears have had so many disappointments at quarterback, right? They could have had Mahomes, the Justin Fields they thought was going to be great. People are very defensive in Chicago when you talk about Caleb Williams. Everybody is like, when you've been burned so many times, like you could be an employee, you could be a boyfriend. When you get burned so many times, Chicago's been burned so many times at the quarterback position. They are, when you listen to sports talk radio, it's nobody wants to hear anything negative. Dave Wanstadt's a former Bear coach. I think Ben was the right choice. I think eventually Caleb is going to speed up his delivery. Here was Wanstadt on what he's seeing with those two.
What's happening now is he's sitting in the pocket and he's waiting more patiently for receivers to come open in the middle of the field. I'll tell you what, I think he's doing everything that he can do to try to master this offense. And there's a lot to it. I know last week Ben cut down on things. I mean, he simplified things coming out of the bye, which everybody was surprised how he was going to handle the bye week. And he said he cut down and they had some physical practices.
Yeah. So I do like the Bears to win. Again, dome team, weather's getting cold in Chicago. I think the Bears win. I think it's fairly close. It's 28-24, but I like Chicago to go to 4-2 on the season.